Okay, so I think I finally figured out the memory problem, so I should be able to do a proper length video. So the last part that I had left off with was dealing with the principal. Now, at this point in time, I was told I was going to be facing a Friday school, essentially. What I did not expect was when I came into school that day, I had been told that I was going to see my school guidance counselor, was going to his office, and I was actually put in a small little closet. Like, we're talking like a Harry Potter, like, you stand in there and, like, you know what it feels like to be a sardine in a can. Big enough for a small desk and a person to sit in there. Not the best way, but a person could. And I was told to basically say what my worst subject was. Stupid me, I was answering honest, so I said math. So I had an entire day of just staying in the closet, quite literally. And to make matters worse, I had to notify them when I wanted to go out to use the restroom, which was just right across from the door that I was at. When it came to lunchtime, I thought, oh goodness, I'm going to be able to get out and I can go get some food before I come back. No, my meal was brought for me, and it, of course, was everything that I wouldn't eat. So I ended up going hungry that day. Thank God I had the company of the um, local rock station. I was allowed at least to have some music so I wouldn't be going stir crazy. How thoughtful. And that was the end of my fifth grade experience. So that pretty much kind of ended my elementary. Not a whole lot really happened in my elementary years. When I was in California, a lot of just kind of being excluded, kind of being in the class, trying to make up on lost assignments. So I didn't really fit in a whole lot with the other kids. Kind of the same thing when I moved here from third grade to, excuse me, from third grade to the fifth grade, finishing off elementary. I then went to sixth grade to eighth grade to Jolene Middle School, where this is when the dysphoria really started kicking in heavy. Now, at this point in time, this is when I started to notice that there was something very different. Like, I was kind of ignorant and very innocent and clueless. We'll say that. Now, for me, growing up with those three words in mind, I had then come to the conclusion that I should have been a girl, but obviously, looking at myself, well, there's not a lot that you can really do about it, so I guess we're gonna move on past that point. So I pushed it out of the mind, but it was still something that I thought about heavily. Made me a little socially awkward. The boys would be roughhousing and knowing all the local music. The girls would be cool. They were going through their changes, and boys were now starting to really kind of notice. I paid attention, but for me, I was more trying to be paying attention to my school, trying to pay attention to my homework and my grades. I didn't really see too much activity in middle school. I did get in trouble a lot in the seventh grade, though, not gonna lie. I was a bit of a bad child then. Middle school, I didn't take too seriously. Kids, don't do what I did there. I still got my good grades, and I made sure that even though I was doing the wrong things, I still did my homework, and I still fought for my grades. I just had a very sheltered life, which I should probably kind of dive into that a little bit. That's also kind of an important aspect of my life, especially coming into middle school. Now, my mom, she, a lot of what I say, as far as for my mom and what I was told of my biological father, I was told growing up around my mom and the man that I called dad, who I didn't find out until middle school, sixth grade to be exact, that the man who raised me was not my biological dad. I thought we looked alike, and I didn't know none the wiser. So, for me to go ahead and deal with that little revelation and not really considering, what about my bio dad? He is a quote unquote bum, and if he really cared, he would be paying child support. He would be making an effort to be in your life, but he isn't. That's what I was always told, and I just kind of left it at that. It wasn't until I was much older that I actually got to meet him, but that'll be for a later time. I want to try to stay as in order with my life as possible. As far as for my mom, she was a very firm hand. She managed everything tightly, precisely. And when we came here, she realized we had to adopt to the fact that we needed to be a two-income house. So my mom was working at a hotel, same like me. And I think that the job got very, very hard and difficult on her, trying to be a parent, raising us, while my dad usually worked the night shift for Applebee's. That's one of the cool things I can say about my life growing up. One of my favorite childhood memories is, at least, it may be an exaggeration, but there's definitely at least like 2 to 3, maybe 4 times a month that I could recall where I would get my chicken fingers and fries. And when my dad finally managed to talk me into trying buffalo wings, found out I love the sauce, love the spicy sauce, and I like spicy food. So that was really a fun point in my life, being able to say that. So, with dad always being at work, trying to help pay the majority of the bills and whatnot, mom was also doing her part and also trying to raise a family. As a child, some of the things that she did, I did not understand because I, at that time, was a child. What you must realize is when moms and dads talk to their kids, when we talk to our kids, we're not trying to be mean. We are trying to make sure that you are being yourself, but you're being safe about it. You're being responsible. And what you do is ultimately a reflection of us. So, what you present in your normal life, my dear kids out there, is you are a representation of how your parents raise you. So I want to make sure that when your mom and dad, when they punish you, how they feel is appropriate. Most cases to none. This is excluding the bad ones. We're not talking about them right now. But for the parents that provide discipline, they do it, we do it because we care. I describe this in detail at this point because I was young and I didn't understand why my mom was doing the stuff that she did. Growing up, my mom did go ahead and leave me at home one day when giving my sister lessons. She took my sister to the YMCA and I was left alone. I was old enough, I was 11 years old at the time. Then, as soon as she was gone, to this day, I don't know what impulsed me, but I decided to try on some of my mom's outfits. And nothing happened of it, nothing weird, but I looked at myself in the mirror and I liked what I saw as far as for how it made me feel. And I couldn't explain it. I just knew that it felt right. What I was doing, I knew people wouldn't understand. And, coming from a child, that's not always the easiest subject for parents to talk about with our kids, but it is a part of life at a certain point. How my mom came across it at the time, I'm a lot more mature now, so everything that I describe about my mom, please comment section, be easy on my mom. Be easy on my mom. She and I have done a lot of soul cleansing and we're a lot closer now than we were back then. So everything I described was from my point of view as a child. With that being said, let's back it up. We had a day where I wasn't careful and I got caught. My mom could have handled it one of two ways. She could have handled it very calmly and tried to, speak with me in a kind enough tone. Instead, she did go ahead and say, "Great, so what, are you gay? Does this mean you want to be a girl? Do I have to buy you panties now? Is that what it means?" As much as at the time I wished I could have said yes, I just felt nothing but shame and disappointment and hurt when I looked at my mom for what I did. And I really didn't want to do that. I wanted to make my mom happy. So I said, "No, I'm fine. I will try to be better than this." So, growing up then later, my mom ended up. Sorry, Mom, it's true. You did end up cheating on my dad. I was the one that ended up discovering it. Told my told my stepdad about it. My stepdad is my dad, for future reference, because he was a big part of my life growing up. He was the male figure along with my grandpa. Both of them. My grandma's and my grandpa's. Now, as far as for my mom and her strictness, we would have to have our rooms cleaned, our toys organized in the toy chest and closet. We would fold all of our clothes. We would take our showers, brush our teeth at designated times. You eat what was put in front of you, and if you didn't eat it all, you would sit there even when it got cold to a certain point before she gave up and would tell you, "Okay, brush your teeth and go to bed." I wasn't allowed to go outside, help my dad out in the yard a whole lot. I remember my mom saying a few times, he's gonna get dirty. He might hurt himself. No, it's fine. You can go ahead and do it by yourself. And I would always just be in my room, just kind of playing by myself. Sometimes I play with my sister. Most times I'm just playing with my Legos or reading books. Or if I was lucky and I wasn't in trouble, I would like to play my Game Boy. I was a big Pokemon fan growing up. Grew up with a Game Boy, PlayStation, Sega Genesis, and and GameCube. I'm not sure if I said that or not already. If I did, I apologize. Once the divorce settled in, I was allowed to go visit my dad along with my sister, who was biologically his, to a certain point before my mom kind of tried telling me at a certain point, he's not your biological dad, so legally you're not required to have to go over there. And that hurt my feelings. I ended up sneaking over there a couple of times, and then finally my mom got the hint and she didn't do that again, thankfully. Her now second husband ended up moving in with his 2 kids. That was kind of an awkward transition in my life. I was just completing middle school, getting ready to hop into high school, when all of a sudden all these changes were just being thrust upon me. So finally, at a certain point, I kind of got tired of it all, and I was finding myself running away more. My mom, she was trying to be very tight with her funds and budget. I was too young to really understand what she was doing. All I saw was a lock on the a bike lock on the fridge, and a padlock, or like a key lock, for the pantry, which had like our dry foods and stuff. We always had food to eat. So before people start freaking out and harping on my mom for that, yeah, it was kind of a mean move to do, but we always had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just not a whole lot of the snacking in between, like maybe a piece of fruit in between, chips or crackers if we were lucky. But really, that was about it. I think I'm going to call it good for right now. That's going to kind of push me into my high school years where I can get a bit more personal. My house kind of has awkward lighting. It is a fixer-upper, but we'll get there eventually. Thank you guys so much for viewing and for commenting. I'll try to send more in when I can. And to everyone, just have a good day, good night, all across the world. Thank you.